or when you're good.
Hi everybody, it's Miss Julie and I am here today at the Fairview Public Library. And welcome to Storytime Live. Well, outside it is fall, and that means the leaves are turning beautiful, beautiful colors. The air is getting crisp. It's a little cold in the mornings, but sometimes it warms up in the afternoon. All the vegetables and the fruits in the gardens are finally bending up. Everything is getting ready to go to sleep for the winter. There is one particular fruit right now, though, that is all over the trees outside, certain kinds of trees. I'm going to give you some hints, and I want you to try and guess what fruit we're going to talk about today. It grows on trees, like I said. It's round. It can be big. It can be small. It comes in red. It comes in yellow or green or different colors. It's really sweet, it's really crisp, and it's really juicy. Can you guess what fruit we're going to talk about today? Yell it out for me. Apples! That's right, we're talking about apples today. They are all over the place. And I've got some really great books on apples, and we've got a really great craft on apples today. The first book I'm going to read you today is called Autumn is for Apples. There's a little girl right here, and she's got a whole basket of apples there with her. Autumn is for apples. It's my favorite time of year. The air is crisp, but not too cold. The sky is bright and clear. Here she's playing with her little dog. And every new September, I count the days until we go to pick some apples from the orchard on the hill. Apples grow in orchards. You can find a tree now and then by itself, but usually they grow in orchards. That means a great big place where there's a lot of trees the same kind, and they grow all together. Daddy hauls the ladder, and my brother brings the snack. I grab my hat and glove and ball and race him out the back. They're getting ready to go pick apples. There may be an apple farm in your area that you could go pick some apples. Mother brings a picnic lunch, all neatly packed away, and then we pile into the car and start upon our way. Look, everyone's going to pick apples. Even the dog's going to pick apples. The orchard road's a winding one with lots of twists and bends. I know the roadside trees so well, they've all become my friends. They go every year to pick these apples. And when the blacktop turns to earth, Dad parks along the side. The orchard opens leafy arms and welcomes us inside. See all the apple trees right here? Look at all of them. And there are people there picking apples. And then, hooray, it's picking time. My brother climbs a tree. He plucks an apple from a branch and throws it down to me. We climb and pick some more until it's time for lunch. Mother hands out sandwiches. We chatter as we munch. The dogs are probably waiting for a snack as well. Look at the bags of apples right here. We run and toss the ball around until it's time to go, but I know that we'll be back again before the winter snow. They've got a lot of apples to take home there. Apples are my favorite snack, so juicy, red, and round. I love how every tasty bite comes with a crunching sound. They're good in pies and apple tarts, or sliced and served with tea. My favorite kinds of apples, though, are those straight from the tree. What do you think they're making here? They've got their pan right here. He's peeling apples. He's stirring up something. They've got a rolling pin, so I guess they're going to make some dough. What do you think they're going to make? You're right, apple pie. And it looks like she's got another apple pie in the oven. Autumn is for apples, and apples are for me. She's awful happy with that apple, isn't she? Apples are really, really good to eat. And they come in all different shapes and sizes. Let's say hi to some of our friends today. Hi, Van. Hi, Daisy. Hi, Everett. Hi, Remy. Hi, Jocelyn. How are you doing? I'm glad you could join us today. Here are some of the shapes and sizes of apples. This apple is called a Honeycrisp. It's really big and it's all different colors. It's not just red or green, it's red and green. They also come in yellow. This is a Golden Delicious apple and it's crunchy and it's juicy. Hi, Will, how are you? This one is a Granny Smith apple. It's all green, but a little bit of red on the side here. We've also got Red Delicious apples. This one's shaped just a little bit differently than the other ones. It's also really good for eating. Do you know how most of the apples got to our area? They started with a man who lived in Massachusetts. His name was John Chapman. Let's say hi to a few more people before we go to the next story. Hi, Gerald. Hi, Matthew. Hi, Easton. Hi, Lydia. Hi, Everly. How are y'all doing today? Well, John Chapman was a pioneer, and he loved animals. He loved nature. He was a very nice man, too. And he wanted everyone to have apple trees. So he got a nickname. Instead of John Chapman, they used to call him Johnny Appleseed. Let's find out how Johnny Appleseed brought apples. We have one more. Hi, Tucker. Hi, Reed. Two more. Glad you're with us. This is a story about Johnny Appleseed. When Johnny Appleseed was a young boy, he loved apples and apple trees. He loved the way apples looked. He loved the way apples smelled. Apples do smell good, don't they? Most of all, he loved the way the juicy apples tasted. As Johnny grew up, he became tall and thin. He always wore a very big smile. He carried a cooking pot on his head for his travels. And that's true. He had a cooking pot on his head. It could be kind of hard to wear a cooking pot on your head. But he did it. When he was old enough to leave home, Johnny became an explorer. Johnny was no regular explorer, though. He didn't carry a gun or a weapon. Instead, Johnny always carried a sack of apple seeds with him. Johnny wanted other people to enjoy apple trees as much as he did. So he roamed around until he found good places to plant the seeds. When he found a good place, Johnny would clear and prepare the land. Then he would plant the apple seeds in neat rows. The rows he's making here for his apple seeds. As the apple trees grew, Johnny would sell them or give them to the settlers. The settlers loved Johnny's visits. He always told good stories. Johnny had many stories to tell. Johnny roamed the West for 50 years. During his travels, he had many adventures. Johnny always walked barefoot through the wilderness. Once a rattlesnake bit the sole of his foot, but his feet were so tough that the fangs didn't break the skin. Don't try this at home. Johnny could talk to all the animals. One day he released a wolf from a trap. After he talked to the wolf, it became his best friend. Johnny also became friends with the Indians. They enjoyed his stories, and apples too. After years of planting trees, Johnny had friends across the country. The wilderness was no longer so wild, thanks to Johnny's apple seeds and his friendly smile. That's the story of Johnny Appleseed. Hi, Lucy Ella. How are you? So there are lots of things that we can make with really juicy apples. You can make apple cookies. That looks yummy, doesn't it? And it smells really good. You can make apple strudel. These are good too. You can make, there went one of my apples. You can make applesauce. That's really, really good. Let me show you one more thing here. You can make apple pies. That's my favorite. I love apple pies. There's all kinds of great things you can make with apples. I've got another book for you. This is called Apple Farmer Annie. Farmer Annie makes a lot of really good things with apples. And at the end of the book, I'll show you something special that you can do. Look at all of her apple trees here. Annie is an apple farmer. She has a big orchard of apple trees. Remember what I said an orchard was? It's a place where there are a lot of fruit, usually fruit trees, all the same kind, in one big place. Look at the beautiful pictures of the apples. There's a little worm. Worms like apples too. In the fall, she picks baskets and baskets of round, ripe apples. She grows many kinds of apples. She sorts and organizes them. Look, she's got them all together, all the same colors, all the same shapes. She's got baskets and baskets. Annie uses some of the apples to make sweet apple cider. Do you like apple cider? I do. She uses others to make delicious, smooth applesauce. She loves baking muffins, cakes, and pies with her apples. She's having a really good time there. She's making a cake right now. But she saves the most beautiful ones of all to sell fresh at the market. She loads everything into her truck and drives to the city. Usually apple orchards are out in the country because you have to have a really big space for them. Annie the apple farmer sets up her stand in the farmer's market. Have you all ever been to a farmer's market? It's a place where you can go and get fresh vegetables and fruits and all kinds of fun things. Lots of customers come to Annie's stand. She is busy all day long. Look at all of the people coming to enjoy her apples. By the end of the day, she has sold everything. She packs up to go home. Look there, the little dog is eating an apple. Annie is tired but happy. It feels so good to have her own apple farm. Now, at the back of this book, remember I told you there was something fun? There are recipes back here for different kinds of apple desserts. There's a recipe for applesauce, a recipe for apple muffins, and a recipe for applesauce cake. So if you'd like to check this book out at the library, You and your grown-up can have fun making some of these delicious treats. Now, I've got one more story for you today. Did you know that there was a star inside the apples? You didn't know that, did you? Well, I've got a story about a star inside of an apple. Now, I'm going to use some animals with mine and a little boy, but if you retell the story to your grown-ups, you can use it any way you want to. You can make it about yourself. You could use people in your story, maybe your mom, your dad, your grandparents. It doesn't have to be animals. You can retell this story any way you want to. I'm going to use a little boy. His name is Ted. Hello, how are you? Ted was bored. He didn't have anything to do. He didn't want to play with his Legos. He didn't want to play with his tablet. He didn't want to watch TV. He didn't have anything to do. So he came to his mother and he said, Mama, can you give me something to do? And his mother thought for a minute. She said, Ted, I want you to go out and I want you to find me a little red house with no doors or windows and that has a star inside. Well, Ted wondered. He couldn't imagine what kind of a house wouldn't have doors or windows and have a star inside. But he got ready to go and he went outside. He walked down the road for a while until he came upon a little hedgehog. Hello, Mr. Hedgehog. Oh, there, Ted. Do you know where I can find a little round house with no doors or windows and with a star inside? And the hedgehog said, No, I don't know. Maybe you better go on down the road and ask Mr. Bear. He's bigger than me and he's smarter. So Ted walked on down the road and pretty soon he came to Mr. Bear, who was busy digging for honey in a beehive. And he said, Mr. Bear, can you help me? I need to find a little red house with no doors or windows and with a star inside. And the bear said, no, I don't know where you'd find something like that. Why don't you go ask Mr. Owl? He's a lot smarter than I am. So Ted walked on down the road, until he came to Mr. Owl. Mr. Owl was just sitting on a branch, watching a little mouse on the ground. Hello, Mr. Owl. Do you know where I can find a little red house with no windows or doors and a star inside? And the owl thought, well, I don't know. Maybe you should go up on the hillside. There are trees up there. Sit and think about it for a while. So Ted walked on up the hillside until he came to a big tree, and its branches were swaying in the breeze, and there were some apples on the tree. Ted sat there, and he was so tired. He'd looked so long for a little red house with no doors and no windows and a star inside. Pretty soon a wind came along, and it blew an apple off the tree, and it rolled at Ted's feet. Well, Ted was done. He decided he'd go home, and he picked up the apple, and he thought, well, at least I've got an apple to give to my mother. So he carried it home, and he gave it to his mother, and he said, Mama, I couldn't find a little house with no doors and no windows, and with a star inside, but I have this apple for you. His mother took the apple, and she looked at it, and she took a knife, and she said, you know, this is red, it's small, it's round, doesn't have any doors or windows in it. Wonder if it has a star inside. So she took her knife and she cut the apple open. And what did she see inside? It's a star. Every apple has a star inside. So that is the story of the star inside the apple. Well, that's all for Storytime Live today. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with me today. And I hope you enjoyed it. And come back at 11 o'clock when we do very special apple craft for you today. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.